We have to add only one more thing. And this is not the end of the subject, remember. This is only the end of today's lecture. As the night pursues the effort to become day, not only does woman lose her femininity, but also she has to delay marriage. So she's not going to get married at 14 anymore. Only those who take guidance from Allah will marry at 14. Those who take guidance from Dajjal will say no. And so now she postpones marriage and postpones marriage and postpones marriage. And when she does get married, every man wants to have a child. And sister, if you can't have a baby, he's going to look for somebody else. But she can't have a baby. Because not only has she lost her femininity, but she's also losing her fertility. And so now she's got to go to the fertility clinics. And when the fertility clinics can't do anything, then you turn to something else so that the man can have his own child. You'll turn to an Indonesian woman who is now a slave. That's what they are. When you pay your Indonesian maid, who is my daughter, she's my daughter, she's Haji Ibrahim's daughter, she's the daughter of all of you here. When you pay our daughter a wage that no woman in Singapore will work for, huh? You're paying her a slave wage. A slave wage. And so you become a slave master. And wait until you go in your grave, and then you see what Allah will do with you for oppressing. Because Islam has zero tolerance for oppression. Islam has zero tolerance for oppression. So now, because you are losing fertility, you have to turn to surrogate parenting. But surrogate parenting in the United States is too expensive. An American woman will charge you $70,000 to rent a womb. It's rent a womb, eh? Rent a womb. But the Indonesian woman is a slave. So you can pay her peanuts. And so she goes to the fertility center, and the egg is fertilized. And she becomes pregnant with your husband's baby. So during these 9 months of pregnancy, she's got to drink. Hey, listen, make sure it's mineral water. Eh? Mineral. You got a first-class baby inside there, remember. Mineral water. Don't drink the water that you all drink. And she has to eat good food, not GM food. Eh? And when the baby is born, baby goes first class. And mama returns as a slave. 1400 years ago, Nabi Muhammad said, one of the signs of Akhirul Zaman is that a slave woman will give birth to her mistress. And تَلِدَ الْأَمَةُ رَبَّتَها. So I've not as yet completed the explanation. Because if it's a baby boy who is born, the baby boy will not rule over his mother. But if it's a baby girl who is born, the baby girl will rule over her mother. Why? Why? Because there's something else at work. He said, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, about Akhirul Zaman, that one man will have to maintain 50 women. Not marry, maintain. Why? There's only one explanation. that there will be a catastrophic decline in the birth of baby boys. So it will be a world filled with women, and therefore with your election system, women will rule the world. Madam Prime Minister. And then they'll ask, how many men do you have in your cabinet? Can't you find any men to be judges? Can't you find any men to be generals in the army? We need more men in the army. Women will rule the world with your system, your political system. What is it that's going to cause the decline? Catastrophic decline. A medical doctor in Canada explained to us that the male and the female chromosomes in the sperm, there are male and female chromosomes in the sperm, and when the male chromosome does not fertilize the egg, then the default is a female. So if a baby boy is not born, then the default will be a baby girl. He said that the radiation from cellular phones and the radiation from your laptop computers, notice where the laptop computer sits, and also the effect, the negative effect of genetically modified food, has the impact of weakening sperm production, and in the process weakening the male chromosome to such an extent that eventually the male chromosome will be too weak to fertilize the egg. And so baby girls are going to be born. And when that happens, then a slave woman will give birth to her mistress. What we've done tonight, it took some time to do it, is to take you on a tour to explain the philosophy of gender in Islam. Perhaps for the first time in your life you've heard it. And then arising out of our explanation of the philosophy of gender in Islam, to then turn to explain marriage, and to then end with an explanation of the functional role of the male and the female in marriage and in society. In the process of making this explanation, we pointed out that Dajjal is in control of the world today, and Dajjal is attacking this and attempting to turn it upside down. And so around the world today, we live in a collapsing society. How do we respond? There are only two choices. If you do not follow Allah and His Messenger, you're going to be following Dajjal. We pray that Allah may protect us from the fitna of Dajjal. ربنا تقبل